Matthew Christensen is a humbly married man with a packed home holding himself, his wife, 3 kids, and 4 pets. He's been teaching literature and composition to his students and has happily continued to do so for almost 20 years. He wouldn't have his life any other way as he does now.
I live near the school because I love the school. I love the town. I love the area. Lots of families and community members care about this place a lot, which is very, very important to me. I love my job. I couldn't do a lot of other ones. I can't imagine them. I could conceivably do them, but I think that would add to my misery, and I wouldn't be the happiest version of myself.
Graduating from Yankton High School in 1997, Christensen had himself a chance to learn over at Augustana University. College is a time where you go through a lot of changes in your interests, thoughts, and relationships, such as a sudden enjoyment in math class because the professor there was really cool. Suddenly, you're a math wizard. But there's been one constant that kept Christensen's interest for all this time, that being literature.
Yeah, in high school and before, I just gravitated toward books, toward stories, toward movies, fiction, poems. I enjoy telling and hearing stories, and sometimes majors don't pick you. Sometimes you pick them, and other times they do pick you. I loved my liberal arts education, where at Augustana we had to take a wide variety of things and pursuits and ventures, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Outside of his teaching job, Mr. C is just as much as an ordinary citizen as anybody else. He has fun with his kids, discusses the day with an array of friends, and all the good stuff in between.
Go to a lot of softball tournaments. Daughter plays in that. Go to my other daughter's dance events. Go to my son has played some soccer before. We go to his stuff. We go to Brandon Lutheran Church.
One of the best things about literature is that it's a flexible subject. You can change and tweak a curriculum to squeeze the most enjoyment out of your class as you could. Christensen knows this and tries his best to reach that level with the current teaching standard.
I've been trying to basically take surveys, either subjective or objective surveys, and poor math teachers, there's nothing they can do about it. They've got just that math to teach, and my wife and I have talked about this a lot, if I can find things that compel readers, and it just makes it go more smoothly for me. And I think we've gotten pretty close. We have to have a certain quantity for college credit courses, but we're getting pretty close to having a nice little list. I do wish I had more female authors, though.
It isn't just about the literature, though. There's flexibility in how one instructs that will get students to digest the information given to them. It may take a while to hit that mark, but progress is always made regardless. Try, fail, try again.
Over the years, I find some things are too structured. Some methods, there's too much of a recipe for them. I like offering some lecture time, some reading time, some balance. I try to make it student-centered, try to tell some personal stories, but not too many. I keep a senior picture on my desk of myself, and I don't, in order to make it not about myself, I look at that and I think, would me then, 17 years old, like this exercise or appreciate this approach? And if the answer is yes, I go with it. And sometimes things go well and not.
Of course, as a teacher, one of the most heartwarming things to see is their students engaging and having fun with the material to begin with. Hiccups and bumps and distaste in moments of the class is a given, but when a student takes the effort to scavenge for enjoyment out of whatever they're consuming, that's what it's all about.
Something that gets them to smile, something that gets them to embrace intellectual pursuits, to find it fun, to challenge their brains. For some students, that could be an essay that they are thrilled about. They like the topic, they like the angle, they like the persuasive tactics they're employing. For others, it's a poem, it's a movie, something that'll just inspire them a little bit to stay literary throughout their lives, not necessarily becoming a literature major, which I studied at Augie and then USD, but just getting motivated, seeing their, hearing, I just love listening to students and just hearing their intelligence and hearing their observations. That's a big thrill for me.
At the heart of it all, literature isn't just about reading a book and understanding it. Christensen understands that stories and vocabularies all have meaningful weight to them and can be applied to their lives. Passion, speaking, abilities, all the stuff needed to have a fulfilling life can be found on a path of interested learning and advancement towards something great.
I hope they take away motivation toward expressing themselves and becoming great listeners to each other and anyone else they meet, be it a spouse or a coworker or anyone.
And as we advance towards the greatness with the speed of a deceivingly quick tortoise, there are times we have to ponder and plan for whatever is going to happen in the future, whether that be through speculation or meticulous blueprinting for whatever will happen. As for Mr. C, he's got a few things up his sleeve that he could press onto when the time for his teaching career draws to a close.
I will possibly try to keep coaching football in some capacity. Some people stop teaching and keep coaching. I might try to do that. Sometimes that's acceptable, sometimes that's not acceptable to a given program. I think I'd like to help young coaches, young teachers. I'll have to stick with something I know, though I'm not entirely done learning. I'm happy to keep learning if something's compelling or interesting, but I'll be interested in grandkids at that point. Relieving my own children, I'll have at least one grandkid, I would suppose, in 20 years. 43 now, so I might teach for another 20. I don't love thinking super far ahead like that, because in the present is the most gains, I think.
Christensen isn't all just books and literature, though. Stories are spoken through a variety of mediums, and he understands that loud and clear.
I love movies. Shawshank Redemption is incredible. Mad Max, the whole series, they're just marvelous movies. They go from Mad Max to, we got Mad Max the Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max Fury Road. There's another one coming out about Furiosa.
Mr. Christensen breaks a lot of the conventions of the learning process that makes learning so much more interesting with him. His deceptively knowledgeable bouts of information paired with an easygoing attitude and goofy demeanor makes learning that much more gripping for each student, making him a common favorite among each of the class's students. Being a student myself, I can attest to this. Mr. C is just a nice dude that you can immediately tell there's a wealth of nuance within him that builds up to be a fun teacher and just a good human being all around. He's a really good guy, and an excellent addition to the Brandon Valley High School staff. If you find your schedule with his name on it, you know you're in for a good year.